Well, at our age, we're naturally more worried, or as worried as most people, were more at risk of getting very ill. So we were quite frightened last year.
I was upset and worried for everyone, myself included.
Covid did affect us greatly, and we were quite depressed.
People didn't know how to carry on, how to talk to people. It was devastating.
You're very vulnerable and you feel so isolated. So I think this is the shame about this Covid-19, the fear that everyone has got, the overwhelming fear. And I must admit myself, I went through quite a few periods of being quite down and worried about it all.
Sometimes I feel that I'm losing my memories because of pandemic.
As a visually impaired person, I felt quite isolated. When you're visually impaired, you can't socially distance. You don't know how far away you are from anybody. It's difficult.
You could get to the stage where you could sit indoors and, like I say, fester. You don't want to go out.
It was just a case of waiting. Like everyone else, I was just one of millions throughout the world.
It was devastating. I can't use any other word but devastating, it really was. We had our coffee morning on the Saturday and then that was it.
As most of our services were face-to-face, they obviously had to stop.
I was heartbroken. I was the one who wrote down Fairweather being closed until further notice. It was so difficult to write that, and also it's not only shutting the hall, it's shutting the lives of people.
We really had to change overnight, and our car scheme service obviously had to stop, but there were still people with a need out there.
We kept the shopping on, and our numbers almost doubled virtually within a couple of weeks.
During the first period, I remember us all thinking, oh my goodness, how are they going to cope for 12 weeks without coming to the day centre? And it just seems so naive when you think back to that, because here we are 17, 18 months down the line. The first lockdown was really difficult because you're trying to learn as well yourself, trying to deal with people's anxieties, their concerns, their isolation. When you're empathetic, it's really hard because you're soaking that in as well, but trying your hardest to be strong and upbeat and bright for the service users. It's been great that organisations have worked in collaboration with each other, no just funders, but Age Scotland have been great. We've been getting Scots literature parks. We had a really good laugh because a lot of the words I hadn't even heard and neither had they.
We did offer for those who were available to continue volunteering so that they had a purpose and they were motivated each week. So some of our Revolve volunteers moved to our shopping and pharmacy service. Over the pandemic, we know that everyone had a lot more time on their hands, so they were doing clear-outs of their own house. We were really worried that those clothes would end up in landfill, which goes against everything Revolve stands for. So what we wanted to do was a pick-up service where other charity shops might have been closed for donations. We actually wanted to try and take as much donations as we could. And we collected over 6 tonnes of clothing from the doorstep to pick up locally.
We came up with the idea of doorstep deliveries. Burn supper, we did that. From the local co-op, they supplied us with shortbread and other things like that.
We did afternoon tea at Christmas because they weren't having their Christmas lunch.
We looked at different ways that we could provide service to our clients. So I would help the office by doing some of the shopping lists. Also, we had the jigsaws and books, colouring lots of things in the car that we could go around and deliver to the clients. And also the phone buddy service, which we would ring clients maybe once or twice a week just to check on them, make sure they were okay, have a chat, see if there was anything we could do to help.
Gary's gang, we normally take them out for a run somewhere and go for normally a sausage roll or a cup of coffee, something like that. The impact of COVID was huge. Peter not being able to go out that was a big blow to him. They said he'd be looking through the window on a Wednesday for me, and I, not realising I couldn't go to take him. So it hurt them a lot. It really did.
I don't know how people would have coped without Shop Parade, especially in the village, because there are a lot of older people there who just wouldn't have got out for shopping.
It was that nice to know the club was thinking about all their members and being so kind.
Our secretary Madge, she always prints off little notes to put in with the drops, and she's very good at putting her words together. And she always had a wee funny bit and something nice to see.
They worked all through it for their service users. I always used to say about 5-day care. When we first got to know about it, it was after my mum and my brother died within the same week, and we had to sort of look after David and see where we were going forward. At that time, I always used to say to Carol, you were a godsend to us at that time. During COVID, they've been a lifeline to us as a family, and I'm sure to all the other service users and their families.